Hey, how's it going, everybody? Steve will be here in a minute. He still hasn't been able to peel himself away from the mirror. He didn't realize it was time to go live. But he says he's trying to make himself look good. I'm telling him he's going to take him years to be able to figure that out. But nonetheless, we are here now. All right, see, who do we have here? Hey, Garcia's here. Thank you, Garcia, for being here with us. Crown Tail Half Moon, thank you for being here with us. Eduardo, thank you very much, sir. Everybody will start trickling in. And as we wait for the star of the show to be ready, because he's got to put on his makeup on properly. He's laughing in the background. He thinks I'm joking around, but we are live now as we speak. So I hope you guys have all had a great week. I know the holidays are coming up. That could be pretty fun, or twinkling. Twinkling in, huh? Yeah, he's doing something. I don't know if it'll pay off. He says it will. I doubt it. I don't think there's enough makeup and beauty products in this world to make Steve look any better than he thinks he looks. But we'll see. Already going upper. All right. Is the music too loud in the background? Yeah, he's doing that. He's getting all his little, his little sequence outfit ready. Hey, what's up, Tommy? And he's putting on the baby oil because he wants to glisten as the light hits him while he's twirling on that pole. I told him not to put it in the styles though, because he'll slip right down the pole. But yeah, he's still trying to. I'm gonna go solo for a minute. But he's still doing his thing. So how's you guys' morning been so far? Or afternoon for some of you? Let me see. I'm going to do something. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to have you come up here, Eduardo, if you don't mind. Till the lady of the evening is ready. If you want to hop on here, go right ahead. Anyways, who else we have in here today? Well, it looks like we got 6 of us in here. Oh wait, I got the wrong screen up.
Pero ya, ve. Interviene para allá y... ¿Dónde está ahora mismo?
All right, now we go. Now, unless you guys want to see Steve's plants.
Ya, cuando tú sales.
But
Tú sales.
here we go. Hey, Eduardo, if you want to come on up here, we'll wait for this food to be ready. Yeah, that is greatly appreciated if you guys can hit the like button.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what it's supposed to do. I just hear people say it all the time. At this point, I guess it really doesn't make a difference with us. Oh, you too? Eduardo, are you also trying to get ready for the poll? You guys are a bunch of divas, man. A bunch of divas. Yeah, we're live. Anytime you want to come on and we can do this show. It'll be all right.
What in the hell are you doing?
We're live. We've been live for about 4 minutes now.
I thought we didn't go live till 1.
No, it is.
Yeah.
We are live now, sir.
Are we?
Yes.
Oh, well, damn. Let me turn off the radio. This is organic. I'm going to get a copyright strike.
Hey, Jeffrey. Yeah, Steve wasn't ready. He was still powdering his nose, taking out his curlers, putting on the blush. Not that it's going to make a difference, but I can't convince him otherwise. Yeah, he's pretty crazy. Es toda una diva. All that time for that?
You sure?
What do you think all these people are doing here?
I don't know, man. It doesn't even matter at this stage in the game.
It's
That's
11
why I got
o'clock,
this.
12 o'clock your time.
Special. No, bro. We go live at 1, fool.
No, we don't.
You sure?
Yes.
We'll
It's
argue
always-
about it all weekend. I don't care.
I have to go to work at 1, remember?
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, you're not getting it straight. It's always been 11 o'clock my time. But anyways.
Well, I'm here so the
Yes,
show can start. It's boring. Look at you with your hipster bitch mug. I'm proud of
Hipster
you,
bitch.
Jorge. You're a
It's
man
just a
now.
coffee mug.
You're going to start openly crying in public next, becoming emotionally aware.
Sure. If that makes you feel better, but I don't need
Yes,
to cry about
yes.
anything.
Yes. What is up? Who we got in here today, man? We got
Oh.
Silver Creek Garcia. Eduardo! Just call me Eduardo.
Yeah.
Master Aquatics up in the house. Who else
I
in
had
here? You said Watson here, J-Dub.
Tommy's here. Silver Creek.
Silver Creek in the house. Man, do we have a show? How we gonna do this, man?
Well, let's just get into it.
Okay, so we're not gonna hurt any feelings.
I don't see why. It's just we're talking about a subject matter. So I guess as
Yeah.
you guys were all saw the title for this, we're calling this episode "The Truth." And I guess it's sort of clicky, but not really, because one of the things that Steve and I have always talked about is the fact that there seems to be some type of level of dishonesty sometimes on some of the videos that we see out there. And also, the reason I say that is not necessarily that I don't want to say they're intentionally doing it, but it just gets to a point sometimes where there could be information that is important to be put out there that isn't, and they're kind of selective with what the information they're putting out there. And the reason we call that expectations versus reality is because a lot of us, when we first got in, I'm going to use me for example. When I came back into, no worries, Eduardo, no problem. When I first came back into the hobby, it had really changed a lot for me. I took I want to say almost 25-year break, if not longer, from the last time I kept tanks until about 2015 when I got back into the hobby. So we're talking maybe like 91, 92 to 2015. And the hobby itself really changed. When I was keeping tanks, colored gravel was a thing. And I remember because my favorite gravel combination was like that dark blue with black. All my tank was set up with that gravel, and I thought it was so cool. And I can't recall, for as much as I try to remember, I don't think there was any live plants in the hobby back then. I mean, available to me. But then again, I've always lived in a small town, and accessibility to fish actually was better then than it is now, because we did have one local pet store, an LFS, that had different kinds of species, but for some reason, what they really kept was mostly the larger cichlids, which is something that Steve wanted to talk about too. But I don't know why the only reason I can think that might have been a thing is because the water that we have, it tends to be a little bit harder water. Hey, hello, Crowntail. I'm doing good. And so I think that's why that was available. And I'm trying to remember, I think the only smaller fish that I remember seeing in the hobby when I was keeping tanks back then were more like, there was some guppies, some platies, and the mollies. Those were all, as far as I can remember, those
You're
always been
forgetting
around.
cherry barbs? You're forgetting tiger barbs?
See, I didn't, when I was back home, when I was first got into it, I didn't see cherry barbs. I saw goldfish. I saw different types of, the catfish, the ones with, I'm trying to think which ones they are. I think they had glass catfish also. I remember
They
seeing
used
those.
to use the needle back then, remember?
Oh,
when they
those
used
were
to
for
color 'em?
those were the glowfish.
Yeah. No, they didn't
first,
glow. They just
no, they were,
died.
yeah, I know, but it was they were injected with
Yeah, they were
dye.
the glass tetras, and it was another brackish species that coming out of India that they were doing it with, and damn near wiped them out doing that. And the cool thing was that it was an offshoot of a lab genetics experiments, and then boom, we got them in the hobby. They slapped a
Well,
patent.
the new
You
ones
got
that are in the
real
hobby
glowfish.
is a whole different type of
Right.
species, and the way they're doing it, it's genetically. They've genetically modified these fish to get those colors. And from what I understand is they're taking DNA from jellyfish and combining it with those fish's DNA
Yeah.
to get those colors.
Yeah,
So
the phosphorescence, the bioluminescence, and they
Mhm.
spliced the gene. So,
but that's what they're doing that. But I'm trying to also see, and I remember back when I was keeping fish, Walmart was a thing. Walmart had fish.
yes, they did.
And I remember they had as far as I can remember, there's always been tiger barbs. Those were real common then. The skirt tetras were also real prominent back then.
Yep.
At least in my town. And like I said, some of those other the common live bears, but not the color morphs you see nowadays with guppies. It seems like a lot of it has been selectively bred to get some of the strains that are out there now. But it was just more like more, I guess, closer resembling a wild type, if that's really a thing. So, but that was then. So, but what I was getting at, my point, coming back into the hobby, one of the things that really captivated me was seeing these aquascape tanks, because all of a sudden that became a form to compete. You see all these pictures of these manicured aquariums, and that when I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, man, that's totally different from when I was keeping fish back in the '90s." And so coming back immediately, one of the things that I wanted to do was try to replicate some of these tanks. Wow, as many videos as
my ass, bro. I'm sorry, y'all. That light is whooping me because I know I always have light issues. So I overcompensated, and I went and got a big ass light.
Oh, you have one in front of you or what?
Yeah, it's cooking me too. You can't see. Look, bro. Look like the aliens landing in my damn.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
No, we need it. You got other stuff for the people, man. But no, you was talking about how the aquascaper captivated you. I'm related.
Well, yeah, that's what brought me back into the hobby. But then you go into that whole situation where you start seeing all this stuff, and then quickly you find out that it's going to be pretty costly to be able to do that, at least to the levels of what you're seeing, and if you're trying to replicate that. So, and one of the things that they don't tell you, because I remember seeing a lot of these videos, I think the very first aquascaping videos that I came across was George Farmer, and a lot of these European YouTubers that were, because I guess it was pretty big over there, and that kind of leads you down a rabbit hole where you start finding some of the other aquascapers, and I think the other one was Green. Was it Green Aqua, the channel? And then, well, anyways, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, you quickly realize that these are not just your normal aquariums, and that's where you start realizing, well, the expectations are a lot more different than the reality of things. So I've kind of found a way to fill that need, and at the same time stay within my budgets, abilities, and my accessibility to certain things. I really thought it was going to be, my limiting factor was going to be not having the right equipment to keep fish. But what I find the biggest limiting factor for me is none of that stuff. It's the heat. I'm having right now in the wintertime, my tanks look amazing because the temperatures drastically dropped in the fish.
Right.
In the summer, I'm running mid to high 80s in a lot of these aquariums, and those plants A lot of those plants do not like that temperature. I always manage to grow my moss real nice over the winter, but once summer rolls around, it all dies back. And I always manage to save a little bit, and it just kind of repetitive cycle. But that's one of the things that's really kept me from really looking into putting the money into buying some of these more sought after plants, because
Right.
unless I was keeping a cooled room where the temperature stayed constantly somewhere in the low 80s to the mid 70s, then that would not be an issue. But
Right.
as you well know, this summer, one of the things that I found, and this tank right behind me, was because it's a deep substrate tank, and the temperatures was a really bad situation for my acaras, and I lost most of them. I only have one. I only have one in there, and because I don't really do a lot of gravel backing. This stuff is not an issue during the cold time, during the cold season. But once it gets real hot, it really starts wearing on them. So, but I had to learn that the hard way.
Right. See, so like I'm listening to you, and then we getting into this because it is the truth. Social media versus reality.
Yeah.
And then like on my commercial, I was like, what is your reality? Right. And I had that one meme where it was like the homie was like, that guy rinsed his gravel in straight tap water. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So like I was listening to you and I was like pleasantly, like it feels good to hear that because I relate. I'm military. At the time, the homie was like, bro, they got that shit on YouTube. And I was like, what? So I Googled a fish tank and it come up on YouTube and it was the same thing. Now I already got my background. I do this. You was just getting back into the hobby. So YouTube was more of a source of inspiration. Like, hey, let me see what these cats is doing these days type of thing. I'm going to do what I want anyway. Right. And it was the same thing. You come across the European cats, the big ones. I ain't gonna mention them again. You said them. And I have discretion. So that gets into it, man. Look, me using my discretion, right? And I'm like, well, hell no. Like that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Boy, stop. Nope. And no, that ain't sustainable. But this is me though. Okay. So it's coming to where you have to be cognizant, right? That everybody is at a different stage of development at any given time in the hobby and in life as well, but particularly in the hobby. Right. So I have that discernment already because I'm me. But you turn around and you take somebody ain't never touched a fish tank. Right. Now we're getting into the meat. That's what y'all came for. Ain't never touched a fish tank. One or two things gonna happen. Either they gonna be mesmerized and they finna go get on it, or they gonna be like, nah, nope. Intimidated, like there ain't no way I can do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really bothered me after going through down that rabbit hole is that they do a very poor job of explaining to you that in order to get your tank to look like that final product, that it's going to go through certain stages. Yeah. And they never, ever really spend any time in talking about the algae issues you're going to have. Even if you're using these high-tech tanks with the nutrient soils and the CO2, it does. I mean, algae is a part of this hobby that they don't really discuss that, and they don't talk about that. Right. So if you're trying to replicate what they're doing and you're missing that information, all that's going to happen is you're going to get discouraged from continuing on because you didn't know that is the normal part of what the tank's going to go through. I think that there should be a little bit more responsibility when it comes to doing this stuff. And granted, I understand that maybe they're catering to that group of people that have already have time in the hobby and they understand this stuff. But I'm going back to when I was coming back in and not understanding that is something that you're going to have to deal with it, and that it's normal, and that there's certain things you can do to try to mitigate it and get rid of it. But I don't see any of these people really spending the time and doing that. So,
look. The time, right? My first YouTube video is this same 55 gallon I got, but it was shot in 2011. I was stationed, I was actually on shore duty, luckily. So I was tanking my ass off. I was on shore duty. I was at NAS Pensacola in Florida. So I was taking advantage of Florida. Had a micro farm. I was running quail. I was breeding several different kinds of snakes. Mods, hit that.
Why not? Let's go check it out.
Yeah, let's go check it out. I mean, shit. Free girls. That's a lie. Cap. Ain't no such thing as a free girl.
It's free after they get your credit card number.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, don't insult me with that bullshit. Don't say free if it's not free. Put the price next time, troll.
If we're getting trolled, that means we're starting to get to troll there.
Hey,
all
man.
right.
That's what I'm saying. So I was doing the micro farm. I had the animals. I was running heritage fowl, chocolate Muscovy ducks. I had some white Morans. If you're chicken heads, you know. I had some Rhode Islands. I had a black Moran female. She was an asshole. And I had these little mini chickens. My kids called them mini chickens, but they are called Saramas. They are from Malaysia, little bitty bantam chickens. They're badass. And so I had that. I had game fowl, blah, blah, blah. I shot that video in 2011 because social media was what it was. In the middle of the night, it's quiet. I ain't doing shit. I probably was drunk. I had a little buzz or something. And want to videotape my tank with my tablet. And then you post it. Because all you doing is showing off. There wasn't no Joey's. There wasn't no Fish Fam. There wasn't none of that. You understand? There wasn't the homie coming home in his church clothes with his button down and shit, making filters with goddamn shit from the Dollar Tree. That wasn't there. You feel me? So then you jump back in. I jump back in. You know what I'm saying? I started being Warrior Planet tanks for real in like 2015, 2016, somewhere up in there. You know what I'm saying? And it's the discretion, right? Talking about explaining it. So I can look at these videos, and that's what I was doing. And I was like, man, wait a minute, cuz. Hold on, G. Ain't no way you finna do that unless you either rich as hell.
Yeah.
You have the Amazon at your disposal, meaning you can just go outside with a shovel some damn well. Or you in business. There's got to be one of them. Could be all three. So I'm like, well, that's kind of misleading, man, because it's video lies. So this is so amazing. My channel evolved, right, with my sentiments of what I was seeing in the creative space on YouTube pertaining to fish, right? I started making is Fish Church. They still up. Fish Church, Fish Talk with Steve. I was live streaming because I'm like, wait a minute, bro. This is not right. This is irresponsible. As creators, it's one thing, but it's like people dumb. You don't understand that you can press pause and record on a camera, and what happens in between pause and record is up to the integrity of that person behind that camera.
Well, yeah, the videos
You know what
are
I'm
edited.
saying? Exactly. Yeah. So I said it in my early videos. I would just do these rants because I was doing a social experiment. I didn't want to get on camera because I was like, if I get on camera, people ain't gonna be trying to listen to myself. You know what I'm saying? Talking about fish and stuff like that. You know, if I was like doing memes or on the Vine or doing skits and shit, then possibly. But this was my mentality, you know. So we go like fast forward to now, and what we talking about now, like truth versus reality, and I see it. It's like age don't equal experience.
Yeah.
Viewers don't equal experience. Looks of tanks don't equal experience. And Watts, if you in here, I'm gonna use your punk ass. Not really a punk, but you know, that's how we look. Let me explain something real quick, because Jeffrey is my friend. When we talk smack to each other, it is the highest form of masculine affection that we can show without, you know, being a part of the alphabet community. I don't want to offend anybody, but for real. So if I say punk ass or like, you know, something like that, that's brotherly love. So I have to explain that for you weirdos.
Well, not only that, since you're going on that, let them know there is a group of us.
Yeah, and there's a group of us.
If you see us going after one another, it's because we are friends. And that's our way of being affectionate. And that group, we call ourselves Darkwater.
That's why.
And because we all have a pretty dark sense of humor, and there's a lot of things that go into it. But Hank is part of that.
Exactly.
Watts is part of that. Drew, Fishy Biz is part of that. Aquafunk, Steve, and myself.
No, it's truly. That's it. But yeah, I'm gonna use Watts if you're in here. So like Watts. I mean, his tanks are immaculate, all of them. And if nobody didn't know, somebody look at his tanks and be like, "Wow, they look great." That means he know everything. And Watts is an humble dude. He'll be the first one to tell you, "Nah, man, I ain't even gonna hold you." Whoop, 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 whoop. And like, somebody could look at one of my tanks, because I'm over here being Mad Max. You feel me? I got a 55-gallon outside right now with no filter on it, half full, with nothing, no auxiliary equipment. I got a full-grown yo-yo Loach that Watts gifted me, and that yo-yo is living its best life. I'm doing a turbidity experiment. I've been trying to perfect this, and all these experiments is for when I get ready to start doing real art and spending money on good glass. The homie Corey Aqua, he did it like with the stumps in the tank. He got good glass. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The homie Corey Aqua, he did it like with the stumps in the tank. Got an echo. Got good glass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's got to turn up the volume.
So going forward with that, like, somebody look at that raggedy tank I got outside and be like, he don't know what the hell he talking about. He need to get his ass up off of YouTube trying to tell people what to do about fish. Well, don't judge a book by its cover. So then we talking about creators, transparency, and good old-fashioned discernment, right? And where I'm at is, what I've realized is social media, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, especially Facebook, the one culprit. Social media in general, Reddit. I was on this other one called Amino. I like to see what the kids is doing. I was in the Navy, so the kids will show me all the little jingle jangles and stuff, what they doing. And I'm gonna go in the fish because I like to get out there and see what the cats is doing. These bastards have turned this hobby into a source of anxiety. And they've done so by irresponsibly being transparent in regards to media and the hobby. And it's not for me to sit up here, and I hate virtue signaling. I'm not fixing to pretend to be altruistic or be on a soapbox. It ain't for me to condemn nobody, to say if it's malicious or not. It's here to have a discussion, be objective, and open a dialogue, and I'm being Captain Obvious. So if that constitutes being an asshole, guilty.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? But that's where I'm at. Like, it's a source of anxiety, for real.
The problem that I'm seeing today is now all of a sudden you're starting to get corporate involved in our hobby because they realize there's money. And they start backing, content creators to the point where I mean, okay, let me put this in perspective. I know our hobby. One of the things that I like about it because there's a little bit for everybody and anybody's taste, and everybody's welcome to go see and do whatever it is they want to do. But I have a problem with the fact when you get these corporate companies backing a content creator and they start putting out videos that it's more, I understand it's for entertainment, but they're making it seem like if that person that's doing it was really an experienced hobbyist, when in reality it's just somebody role playing a person that's a hobbyist. That's where I have a little bit of an issue with it, that they're not being transparent and they're not making people that are not hobbyists understand that is just somebody that's paid to read a script and do some things on camera.
Cool.
And that's the part where I don't think it's that I don't find agreement with.
Politicians I know, but I ain't gonna say no name.
So, but that's just kind of one of the things that kind of I don't agree with. But and then people, the problem that I have with it is because they grow so fast and so big that you get other hobbyists thinking that they can also expand that quick and try to get to these milestones that these certain content creators are getting to. And it's not a reality. That's the whole expectation versus reality situation again.
What we say, hermano, state your purpose. You getting in YouTube to do this fish tank shit, to blow up and be goddamn famous? Good. Let me tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need a complacent wife. You're going to need a lot of flow space. You're going to need a shitload of fish tanks. You're going to need to purge your soul because you're going to be for sale. You're going to need to kill a lot of fish. And cognitive dissonance, get used to that. Because plants don't grow that fast. Ain't no content. Fish die. Ain't no content. And you can't reinvent the wheel because all we doing is playing God with a glass box. So
hey, I got to go take this because my wife's car.
Like, you got to state your purpose. Meaning, are you educating? Are you entertaining? So, like, I'm going to be George Bush right now. We in Texas. We got a saying, namely in Houston. When you stay in your lane, it's usually less traffic. And what happens
100%.
is these cats, they be out of their lane. See, I understand that this ain't nothing but life and I'm going to do it anyway. It's a fish tank, and what the internet has done is it's given people equity without responsibility.
Correct.
Now I'm finna hurt y'all feelings. I don't give a damn. Well, I do. I'm gonna be as kind as possible, but
yeah,
I'm
you're
just
being
gonna
kind,
be direct.
but you're being kind. You hear me okay?
Yes, I got you.
Oh, okay, cool. The being kind thing is that since YouTube came up, since it popped up since 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, it hit big time, and people are trying to hit that mark so that they can make some money. The thing is, like we're saying, a lot of the people that are out there don't know what they're doing. They say that I'm in the learning process,
right?
And then they start preaching without even knowing what the tank cycle would be, the aquarium cycle would be to keep fish, and yet they're on there. Oh, I'm in the experience. I'm like, no, because what you're doing is you're preaching something that you have no idea.
Right.
Of the complexities of them 100%. I want to go quickly and jump in what George was saying about plants. Back in the day, those of us that have had the experience and the knowledge that we've accumulated over the years, that has also changed. I mean, we still remember when we used to take everything out and bleach and use shampoo to clean the tanks. And
I did it for money.
And people,
it was industry standard.
Today, right. The thing is that, but we weren't told differently, because the higher turnout we had on the fish that we were keeping, we went and bought more. But they never corrected us that, oh, you're not supposed to do that. But we've learned, because some people, some experts, and I'll say the word experts in quotation, said, wait a minute, stop doing that. What about the natural stasis of where the fish live? Soap go in there, we kill them. So why are we doing that to the tank? And so we learned. And so they taught us. And so 45 years that I've been in the hobby, in fish keeping, I learned real quick, no, you don't do that. And yet today, we are still seeing people wiping the tanks out, cleaning the gravel, removing everything, putting the fish over there, and they have no idea what they're doing. Why? Because they're they're listening to people just saying, yeah, that's the way I did. That's the way it's supposed to be.
I'm glad you said that.
It is.
Let me expound on what I just said a while ago. Equity without responsibility. And Jorge, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to expand on it. Pete Gang. You got a bunch of people who ain't never, you understand me? Ain't never known what it feels like to win, to get attention, to matter, to be loved, etc. You understand? And in layman's terms, you got a bunch of nerds who ain't used to getting attention. And in the military, we got a saying for that too. So you get these females who may not necessarily be the most virtuous as far as looks are concerned, but they are in a testosterone charged environment and they are what is available. So they become what is called queen for a day. And you got a lot of queen for a day in going on social media, namely in creative space when it comes to hobbies. Because it ain't just fish tanks. In the dog community, they argue. In the plant community, they argue. It's ego. Because you got people, look, let's just use our brains. It's fish tanks. Who keeps fish tanks? We're not talking about the most. We nerds. We losers. We fuck ups.
Oh no, I just.
Well, I'm not none of that. I'm talking about the rest of them cats, not me. No. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you get them cats. It shows, because that's why we're having this conversation. You get that equity, and there's no accountability. There's no responsibility.
Correct.
And what's happening is it's being misused. This is symptomatic of something that's not right. People still watching, doing what you said. This is all symptomatic of something not being right. And that is
to add to that point you just said, then we come up and say, yo, what are you doing? What you're doing is incorrect. That is a fallacy. That's wrong. That is just not appropriate. That thing we no longer use. That was wrong. Oh wait, then we're the bitches. We're the complaining assholes, and then they're the ones that are. Oh, they're the victims. No, mother, you are creating a complexity into the hobby that has the falsities of what it is that we're supposed to do to keep the fish in the box safe.
Right.
What you're doing is propagating what we've already learned to be a falsity that no longer is practiced, and you're bringing it in and you're showing it as if it was a new invention. You're not inventing nothing. Nothing. Hey. What you're doing is guiding youth or guiding those that don't know to make the same mistakes. So then when we come in and correct them,
We
all
did.
of a sudden we're wrong, right?
Let me bring
So
the people
someone
in.
says
Give them a
something-
vision.
Yes, because we walk in and we're expanding the ability of what we're doing in our tank. Like you said, George, with the plants that came into the hobby later. It wasn't there. I put down in chat, one of the only plants that I sold in the fish when I was 15 selling fish in an LFS was the banana plant.
Hey,
Oh, I don't like it. They sold this. I hear a lot of BS about the
them
banana
40s,
plant.
no, it's a damn good plant, and actually
It
they're
is.
not as easy
And
to
it
keep
was
as people
unique.
say.
Right, it was unique. The roots of it was really, really good. I don't know about you, but I remember putting pothos in my tank a long time ago because my grandmother used to have the damn pothos in a glass of water, and that thing was going all over the friggin' house.
Yeah.
And we're talking about
Hey.
40 years ago.
Check
You know-
this out. This is I'm about to make you go ham. I want you to say what you always say when you say carajo.
Yeah.
Watch. These cats, and then they go on the social media and they go on the YouTube on the enters of net. And they fish tank look like a goddamn Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but they want to get cocky and arrogant and say, are you doing the fishless cycle? Well, such and such didn't say that. And then they're rattling off all this shit that they bought and the equipment and this and that. And it's like, boy, if you don't stop blowing up my phone with that bullshit, that's you. That's your information bias, not mine.
Correct.
You watched that shit and took it as gospel, as church. I'm finna lay you the ism.
Like they're saying in chat.
I grew up around some. I'm streets. The ism, the church is the truth, and the truth is, don't mistake my experience with my lack of presence on this toy that is YouTube. Because if it ain't making you no money, it's a toy.
Well, but that's
play.
the way some of them the money aspect of it is what I find asinine. I mean, hey, you got nothing better to do? Go on YouTube, try to make some money. Go right ahead. I don't care. That's not my point. That's your life. I have a class. I have a class to teach. But what I feel that is most impactful is that, the fish fam in particular, those that we know, that we've met in person, that we have communicated and we've connected with, all us geeks and nerds that have been doing this. And we're geeks and nerds in our own world, but to everybody else, that's a stigma. I'll wear my badge. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I don't care because it's my hobby. I do this.
Ain't no stigma, big bro.
I don't care.
It's
if I was
rules to
building
this shit.
model airplanes, I'm a geek on that as well. And sniffing that glue was actually pretty good when I was a kid. Anyway, that's a side.
Anyway, you right though. There ain't no rules. I'm gonna put it to you like this, man. Hey, these cats out here getting sponsors and shit. Hey, look, you keeping fish tanks on the floor. And you trying to tell, boy, I don't give a damn who you is.
I agree.
You don't keep fish tanks on the floor at all.
Even the sump, I have it on the stand. I don't put anything on the floor because one thing, it's harder to reach. I mean, if you have it on the lower part, that's fine for a sump. But like if you have tiles and tiles or shelves of fish, and you're literally plopping fish in that just came into a fish tank, and you're watching the fish die as they're plopping it in. What are you actually teaching us? How to kill fish? I don't know about you, but if I want to see dead fish, this fish market.
But that's what I'm saying. These rules are forged in blood. These cats is over here reinventing the wheel and think, hey, you can be doing it wrong a long time, and it's still fucking wrong.
But I think the bigger issue is not, it's this. The problem is there's money involved. And that's really what the issue is. It's the fact that, again, we got corporate companies that are trying to find people to help them push their products.
Kill fish so we can sell them stuff.
Because ultimately,
what it
these
is.
businesses do depend on the repetitive business. I mean, it's a lot of this stuff we can keep without necessarily having to use a lot of these things that they sell you out there. What the problem is, there's money to be made, and they are able to find spokespeople that will represent them.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, if they were hobbyists at one point, all of a sudden their mentality has switched because there's money involved. It's monetization. There's an interest.
Yeah,
so your philosophies are obviously going to change, and you're going to all of a sudden you're depending on that income. So of course you're going to say what they want you to say, and that's where I have a problem. Where there's no disclaimers on some of these contents on these videos, saying that it really is just a commercial. Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate. Wait. I appreciate the businesses that exist in our hobby, and they're very upfront and saying, "I have a business and I'm doing this to sell my product." I have no problem with that. I totally respect that. That is the hustle.
That's what I was just gonna say. I ain't not look buying shit cool as long as it's a choice. But when these cats have been talking about you have to have it.
But to add to both those points, is this: those that have been in the hobby have modified over the back filters. We've modified how we use those filters. Number one, how we use the lighting. How we're using plants, how we're not using any heaters, or how we're not using anything, and we're going natural, and we're and it's surviving. Why aren't they being? We're not selling a product. We're using a product that is in the market, and we've altered it to the benefit of what fish we keep. Okay, right. Cold water aquatics. He has no heaters. It's 60 degrees in his basement, and he has no heaters, and he has and minimal filters and all that for years. So he's not getting any sponsors. He's not, nobody's promoting him. Why? Or no business is coming to him because the product is not going to sell. He's not selling himself. Sorry to throw you out there. He's not selling himself for a product. But here's the other thing. If we know how to keep a fish with the minimal amount of expenditures out of our pocket, we use underwater filters. They were awesome at the time, yet they went out. Now go buy an underwater filter. It's going to cost you 4 or 5 times more than what it did back in the day.
Or you can watch my channel and I tell you to go to the thrift store and you can get one for 50 cents.
There you go. But you get sponge filters. Inexpensive, but you talk about these fluvels and these all this marketing aspect. Oh yeah, I have this, or we bought. I remember creating a sump when sumps. Right. When I found out what a sump was, I was like, I want to try that. I didn't have a big tank back in the day. I had smaller tanks. I think the biggest one I had was a 55. But I put a sump with a 10-gallon tank because I went to clean. My boss said, "Hey, this guy has this big saltwater tank at the house built in the wall. He needs us to go clean it." So he hired us. And so we went on a Sunday to go clean it. And I was like, how is this being cleaned? And he opened up a closet and showed us this expert mechanical monstrosity that was literally the sump of the tank.
Right.
And so he's like, what I need you to do is don't touch the tank, is get the sump. It's the sump we got to work on because something went wrong and we just had to fix and it's not working properly. And so we had to fix, but we got to clean it out every so often. And that's really what you want. It was literally like 100 gallons of water of a sump for his, I don't know, I think it was 1,000-gallon it built in the wall tank, had the most stunning coral and saltwater fish like you can imagine. But and I asked him, so what is it? Because I'm 16 years old. And go, well, they call it's a tank, but it's sort of like it cleans the system. The word sump was not used, but that's what it was. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can do that with a 10-gallon tank. And so I just literally mentally recorded what I was seeing and I redid it. And you know what? It worked. It worked. I mean, sure, it was already out there in the market, but they weren't selling it like they sell the sumps today. You have
You
some.
said the big word though. You said hobbyist. George said it. A hobbyist. Y'all can go to my about page right now, and I promise you, my shit is shadow banned because I put it on there. The point of my channel is to show y'all how to fish tank for real and have all that shit that all the top sponsored people on YouTube in creative space have, and you can do it sustainably. I'm a whole ass single dad, 2-decade veteran, getting shot at ass all over the world. Fucked up domestic situation, having ass unstable human being. I could teach you how to do it, human being type person. And then you talked about the other cat. He not making no money. I don't think you're throwing him under the bus, but it's the truth though. So when I get up here and say I'm not brand safe, like it ain't, hey, oh no, you talking about racist? No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. That stuff's beneath me. Brand safety is literally that. Are you gonna generate revenue? ROI, return on investment. Which goes back to stating your purpose. Again, I said this on one of our streams, fellas. YouTube is the closest that the average person will ever get to running a business in their lives. These cats go get logos and handles and t-shirts and all kind of shit and go spend all this money at Home Depot buying cinder blocks and boards and shit. And then it's like, why? I used to clown with Watts all the time. I'd be like, boy, y'all damn sure is making real fish tank out of these 40 breeders. They taking these 40 breeders and escaping them. I'm like, I didn't know people was really, because a tank, I mean, I'm old school. 55s, baby. It's a display. And it better be on some furniture too. Or in the wall. I'm classy. Now, you got people keeping shit on the floor, boards, furniture, just priorities all fucked up. I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy what you enjoy, but it's like, how come we can't show people how to do it the right way?
But at the same time, if I was going to be breeding, if I was to turn the shelter that I'm building up into a breeding section, right? It's going to be 14 by 20 and all that other stuff. And I'm going to make it a breed. That's a completely different aspect of my life. That's right. That's no longer a hobby. That is now a business. Okay. If I'm going over there to my shed and making 100 tanks on stands and making sure that they're all set, it's for breeding, I'm selling the fish. That's a completely different market. I'm not that person. I got my tanks on stands there. Everything is set up the way I like it. And most importantly, the way the fish want it. It's natural. It's set. My fish tanks have plants like crazy. And it's not for looks. It's not for aquascaping. It is for the fish living in it, breeding like friggin' rabbits. I think they breed more than rabbits anyway. And literally, I'm just enjoying them. That's what this is. That's what it's about for me. By the way, I do like the scaping behind you, Mexi. The little horns coming out your head in the back. Very, those, the wood. Yeah. But again, you do it. It looks good. It looks really good. And I appreciate it because I know it took time to do. I get it. But someone watching, someone new that they don't know oh my God, what's that back there? What kind of fish is he keep? Is that a fish? Is that a snake? They're questioning everything. And when we go to, and it's not knocking those YouTubers that have been doing it for a while, and they have a business and they do promote merchandise. I buy it if I like it. But I'm also that guy that criticizes it. What a piece of shit are you selling? It's not what you're promoting. It's not what you are promoting. Sounds good. You're very positive about it, but the quality and the sustainability of what you're selling is a piece of shit. Doesn't work. It looks great. It doesn't work. So we got to go And I'm the one. I'll be the first one to go in. I'm like, hey, I got this product, and I've had it for a year, and it's still a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that you're selling.
Your gears are
Nothing
going.
nothing. You're okay. You're listening, okay?
Yeah, my gears are going. My gears are going, dude.
Right. I literally gave them a review, and I don't review like immediately. I review immediately when you say just to throw them out there in a positive way. I got shrimp from Garden of Eden from Shelby and Grant. They came in beautifully. They're doing fantastic. I give them 5 stars. Their shipping, the quality of the shrimp that came out, not one came in on DOA, and not one has died. Number one. Number two, I got Maria Z's platinum tiger guppies. She sent me like 100 of them, and she sent my sister some. Every single one alive. Every single one. She wasn't selling them. She was just getting rid of them. And I said, hey, I'm interested, and I'm going to share them with as many people as I can. Second, that's third. Consolidated fish. I forget their name. I'm screwing up their name. But anyway, Consolidated. I ordered my blue rams, electric blue rams, my rummy nose tetras, what I wanted to get back into. And I got some small diamond tetras. Every single one of them perfectly shipped, perfectly arrived, and I gave them the credit. Okay. That being said, I've bought products, filters, lights, this, that. Instead of buying them from Amazon, I bought it from different YouTube sponsors that they have the product there. Great. Some things, fantastic. KG Tropicals, I got the Inner Sishi at SICCE. Sicce, whatever the name of the Italian company for underwater. I love them. I've had them now for a year and a half. I will not change them. I love those filters. Okay. I got something else from another store. I was like, what a piece of crap. I put it in my 125, and I was like, I spent $60 on this piece of shit. I took it out. I said, let me put it on the 55, see if it works. Nope. I put it in the 40. Nope. Put it in the 10. So I went down. I took it from it was supposed to be working on a 125. Now it's not even working on the 55. Now it's not even. I put it on the 10, and it still acts up. So you know what I did? Pulled it out, threw it on the side. Went on the site, gave them their review, and haven't heard from them since.
See?
Nothing for free, and I'm not even mentioning the product because that's how bad it was. Yeah. Okay, so to me, if you're gonna go on YouTube too, be sponsored by someone and sell their product and do that, and you're an idiot of a hobbyist, more power to you. But guess what?
This brings
everybody that watches you, you're ruining their lives because you're making them buy something, or you're promoting something that is not beneficial. That does not work.
Look.
And I think there is our fallacy, and
yes,
we lose new fish keepers because of that. My point.
Perfect. This brings us right into our next topic. This one is for you, Jorge, and then Eduardo, please weigh in. So we want to discuss information biases. Okay. What you know may not necessarily be what the next man know. I said you set this one up good, Eduardo, talking about if you suck as a person putting information out there because it's money, you don't care, it's a piece of shit product, X, Y, and Z. Fantastic. Talking about transparency, I'm going to lead by example. This is what frustrates me. You get the new hobbyists. They watch social media, okay? They like, Steve, you know shit about fish. So then they hit me up and they want to pick my brain, okay? They start, like they trying to impress me. You know what I'm saying? They start rattling off all this bullshit that they heard, learned, or seen on YouTube. Just YouTube.
But that's not their fault.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. No, I'm building it. And it's so disappointing because then I got to check my information bias, right?
Yep.
They don't know what I know. They seen YouTube. They trying to see what I know. They telling me what they understand based off of what they saw on YouTube. Going back to what you said, Eduardo, it is so irresponsible. No, it's just plain effed up. It's chicken shit. There you go. To purposefully mislead people. I mean, at that stage in the game, it becomes malicious. And I said, I'm not here to condemn nobody, but we just doing science now, measurements and observation. If you put all those factors in the same equation together, per definition, I think that is malicious because you know you're going to harm people. And because of money or whatever your motivation may be, you do it anyway. That's malicious. So weigh in on that, the people, and like, how do you, you got to check that because you don't want to run them off. But at the same time, you want to tell them, hey, that's a bunch of bullshit, man. Stop watching them punch.
Here's my take on that. And this is where the onus falls on us as individual content creators. And the reason I say that is because it's our responsibility to be very clear what it is we're trying to accomplish with our content.
Correct.
And if we take that responsibility and are upfront about it and explain to people what it is we're trying to do, then that person can take that information and see where it fits for them.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong. And like I've always said, there's absolutely nothing. If you're a self business and you're trying to promote your stuff, great, because this is free advertisement. But what's the upside of that is most of those people that I know that do that are upfront about it. They're telling you, I have a business. This is my product. I have a business. I believe in this product because I've used it for years. That is total transparency. And I have no problem. And if your content wants to be an infomercial for what it is you're doing, great, because that's exactly what you said you're going to do. At that point, it's my choice whether I want to sit there and watch that or not. But at least I know that the transparency behind it. Right. And that's not a problem, because ultimately we're all trying to accomplish different goals with this. Some of us is just to provide information. Some of us is just to share our experience. Some of us do have a business and we're trying to promote that. That's fine. That's perfect. The issue where I was taking with it is when they try to disguise it as a hobbyist, but they're actually a corporate business promoting themselves. That's where I have a big problem with it. And that, especially when the information is incomplete.
They're reading a script too, and the script is scripted to sell the product, and the people are pushing it off as valid information.
And not only that, they're trying to portray themselves as an experienced hobbyist, which sometimes they're not even really a hobbyist. They weren't in the hobby until they got the job to get in front of that camera, and they're learning on the fly.
They got it yesterday. They got it yesterday. To add to that, one of the things, if you don't mind me interrupting,
go ahead.
Because on point is, and chat is right on it. When we work, or when we turn our hobby into a job, we burn out real quick. I've been doing my hobby for a long ass time. It's not work. Water changes, doing this, keeping the fish, transporting fish from over here to over there, so I can do this and I can do that. The plants growing outside. None of it it's work. It's where I come to in my daily life to wind down and deal with nothing outside my home but what's in my home with my fish or my orchids in the back. Now, a product, or why the YouTubers are out there trying to create a world that is based on fictitious information. Reading a script right now. We don't have a script. We did not discuss this prior to coming on in front of everybody today. All right. This is a conversation, an honest, truthful conversation about what frustrates us and what we're seeing. Look, we're a bunch of 30 plus old men. I'm being nice, right? 30 plus old men that we have young viewers, young women, and women with experience, and they feel, wow, this is the conversation we should be having. Because when you go out there, and we have people in the chat who have donated their money, their time to the fish fam that they're watching on YouTube, and they know who to trust because we've been around long enough for them to say, I know what he's talking about is true shit. You know what? Who is this new person? You know how many times I get a text talking about Texas? I just got a text the other day saying, who the hell is this person preaching? It was somebody on a stream, and I'm like, I have no idea. There was somebody on some stream. I looked at the chat. I was a mod. I went and looked at the channel. I wasn't subbed, and I'm like, everything they're saying just doesn't make any. It doesn't click on me, and I'm like, I told the person, I have no idea. When the stream was over, I texted the streamer and I said, where the hell are you getting these people that have no connection with anybody here? I feel like you're bringing new people in. That's great. But their substance isn't that great. You know, they got maybe 12 videos out there. 9 of them are shorts. And I'm like, sorry, it doesn't work. And it creates a fallacy in front of our world. Look, when we do the what we did out on Saturday, I forgot last week, the auctions, right? We know what we were getting into. We know Dr. Anthony. We've seen him around over a year. Some of us have been on streams with him. And you look at Hippie John, okay? I go to his stream. He's very genuine, very sincere. Same thing with Brandon B. Wizzle. And I see that they're beginners. They're coming back. They're beginners. They're just talking, you know, just making the conversation and all that kind of stuff. And it's fun. They make the stream, they make my time here enjoyable. They don't have to be experts. They don't pretend to be experts. Like you said, they're upfront. I like this and I like that. Same thing when Glitch, when she was streaming, and even though her political point of view may have been extreme to many of us in the beginning when we met her, we got to know her. I think it was some truck stop or something in Canada, and she was streaming live, and I don't know what the hell was going on, but it was fun to watch. I don't have to agree with the politics, but it was fun to watch. It had nothing to do with fishes, but it was fun to watch. So it adds to the dynamic of the individual that we're presenting with, right? We have a point of view. We have an obsession, multi-tank addiction, right? We have different things that we like. We don't have to like the same thing. I mean, look at this guy. This guy got plants all over. I wish I could show you all the plants in front of me. I don't have them behind. Well, I got some over here. And of course, my Kiss My Great Orchids. There you go. Second flower blooming. But you literally have a diversity of who we are and what we keep in our fish tanks, you know, in our boxes. We have a diversity of fish, and we love different kinds of fish. I love it. I still remember the moment I was watching. Sorry, Glitch, I'm throwing you onto the bus. It's not a school bus, so you're okay. I'm using the really big train buses. She was outside. I think she was getting coffee, and a friend of hers starts talking to her, and she's just babbling on while she's trying to get her cup of coffee and all this stuff. And it's like, isn't that one of us at any given time? It's human, right? It's human. It doesn't have to always be about the fish, but if we like who we see, like we get along, let's say mind-wise, you know, we mind meld with each other that way because we connect. I like connecting with people, even when their views are completely different than mine. But if they're genuine, I met a lot of people at the Clash this year. A lot of them I'm like, oh, TJ, I'd never seen. Alishon, I had never met. And I saw them there, and they were genuine. They were real. They were nice. They were very friendly. Human contact is important. I'm not shy. Well, I'm a little shy. All right, I'm not shy at all. Well, fuck that shit. I ain't shy. But, you go out there and you put yourself out there for real, people are going to understand who you are. Here, the same person you're looking at with the pretty hat and the pretty face, all that. I'm the same asshole when you meet me in real life. Period. Nothing's changed. Well, when I went to the Clash, I made a choice.
I was going to say the same thing about George.
I made a choice to be silent and not talk as much. And everybody was, is he okay? That's not the Eduardo we know.
No, there it is. Yes, it is. I do the same shit. I only talk to you if I like you.
Yep. Yeah. Well, no, I'll talk to him even if I don't like you, because I was raised this way. Maybe the Latino, we're all Latinos.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm not going to.
We walk in a room. We walk in a room and we say good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Whoever's in, even if the person that's there is your arch enemy. Because I am not going to focus.
Unbecoming of yourself. Absolutely
Correct.
Not. Never.
Yep.
Never.
I'm not going to change my values of life and how I greet people at work every day. There's certain people that I would never in my wildest dream hire as a teacher. Yet they're teachers.
See, that's what I was saying. Me and George don't ever talk about fish, like hardly ever. But this is what I'm getting at. Is I was listening to you talking about beginners and like just both of y'all and the transparency, what you was talking about, Jorge. And look, so it's like state your purpose, right? What do you want? What people forget is the fish tank is just a conduit to human interaction. Because what's the point of having fish tanks if there ain't no people to tell you got fish tanks? And I mean, there's plenty of people who used to didn't have no people to tell, and now they've been given equity.
Yep.
Irresponsibly, I might add.
Correct.
And all that life that you just spoke of, all that humanity, it's there to see. So we're taking this dialogue is responsible. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if? Because this is one of the topics we discussed. Hey, I'm gonna get into it now.
Well, let me expand on what Eduardo was saying.
Okay.
And this goes back to what I've always said. What I like about our community is that it does create those relationships with people that we all have in common. The one thing that we keep fish in the glass box.
Right.
But as far as content creators, here's where I get at. I understand that all these different people that stream, they all serve a purpose, because it's not necessarily because you're going to go there to learn about a certain fish or so. Some of them do that. But like a lot of these that we have is more of a social interaction, because in our day-to-day life, we don't find this number of people that have that same common interest as we do. So it allows us to come together and just talk. Exactly. I mean, we could just have a conversation if we want to about fish, but half the times, a lot of these conversations are just about life in general. Yep. And that's what's so great about having this community. So when we have I'm really gonna, because I've heard some people not understand the popularity of Rico Stand. And one of the things that I love that channel is not necessarily because I'm going to go learn there about fish keeping.
Right.
I'm going to go there because the majority of us are there.
They be in there kicking it.
Yeah, it gives us an opportunity to, have conversations in the chat, and then also learn about people that are coming on and listening to them, and we get a little bit of background on. And I love the way he does it, because he purposely doesn't keep it fish related. He wants you to learn about that person in general and learn
share their life experience. Some of the things that we have learned about some of the our YouTube Fish Fam family has come from Rico Stan's channel, where we have learned who, how, where their life challenges their
Right.
losses, their gains, their children, their marriages, the lack of marriages, the fact that, you know, I had this and I had that. And you know, I used to be a waiter. I used to be a drag queen. I used to be this. I used to keep fish. I also keep dogs. And all of a sudden, we actually, their life book has opened to us. And yes, why
I'm
we're
gonna tell
there,
you one more.
because we want to be able to say, I didn't know that about you, George. Wow, that is so awesome.
That's how I came across both of y'all. Big Tank Hank, Dark Water, man. And I keep saying this, like this birthday sucked because it was my first birthday out of the military, and it COVID, and I hadn't linked back up with all my kinfolks yet. Blah blah blah. So I was alone. And Jorge came through, and he was just watching the stream because he had saw some of my videos and was talking about plants and stuff. Now we doing this. Same thing with you, Eduardo. But it's because every time somebody goes on Big Tank Hank, it's about them. And everything you just said, man, marriages, they life, they used to party, eating mushrooms and shit. And I'm like, damn, they cool. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about, and it's a beautiful thing.
That's
the community in the community.
Exactly.
That's the fam and fish fam. Damn it!
How do we expand our own mental diversity if we're locked into this kind of just here? I'm over here. I'm not, or I'm on that side. No, you start here. You know, like a little horse that's being, you know, moving a carriage, and all of a sudden it just keeps expanding, and you're like, wow, Glitch is an artist, Bex is an artist, Rack is an artist, and then you have quality of fish keeping, or tank. Let me rephrase that. Tank keeping, the osmosis. Didi, oh my God, how Didi has grown over the years, so that she has been. Oh, I had the big crash in the 90s. Now she's keeping 30, 40 tanks of shrimp. And now I'm addicted to shrimp. Thank you, Didi. Thank you very much for joining us. Anyway, so
I mean, y'all late to the party and everything, but welcome aboard.
But it's like you click on into this huge
synergy.
Picture. Jennifer Weaver. Synergy. Thank you. That was the word.
Got you.
Synergy. Jennifer Weaver, who is in the Fish Fam, who's in the chat right now. She sent me, oh my God, the most stunning. She didn't even want a penny for them. She just sent me these cockatoides, and a pistogram cockatoides, stunning fish. She sent some to Didi, to Richard Reynolds, and then he had and sent some to Didi. We're sharing our fish. We're sharing something, and I'm not going to spoil anything on Jennifer Weaver because she told me in private, but we're not talking about someone who just joined the Fish Fam. This woman has experience.
Let me go to something today.
So
me and Joe, look, bring this up real quick. What you just said, Eduardo, talking about being stuck in a box, okay?
Yep.
And this is my perspective. So, like, keeping fish tanks, right? In certain demographics, it's a bitch sport. So if you don't want to get teased or made fun of, you got these aggressive ass fish in your house. Yep. So you got little Larry and JoJo, the D-boys over there in the corner and shit. They're going to roast your ass talking about Luigia, Inclinator, and, you know, Rotala and just crazy shit. No. But if you like, say, cuz, check this out, and then you dump like $5 worth of feeders in there and let two Dovas smash them, bro, that's badass. And then what happens? That box is created. Then you go to the store, and the people in the store patronize you. It's like, oh, here, brother. Oh, the Oscars is over here. You need feed us? You need feed us today? You know, like for real. And it's patronizing as hell because you get stuck in that box. So here we have social media. Here we have an opportunity to break all that shit, but yet we still have people perpetuating these stereotypes. It goes back to what you said, Jorge. Accountability. The onus is on you. Discernment. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, it is very synergistic. It is very self-feeding. So it's like, do you like stay a victim of the cognitive dissonance and you just tweak your prism and go along with it? Because if you do that, that's probably how you live your regular life too. I don't.
You know,
Like, what do you do?
Yeah. When you meet us in real life, we get a glimpse. We already, let's say you've been on Rico's Stand or a Big Hang Tanks, and you get to meet them in real life, and that person that was there is now in front of you, and everything is coming back to you. Oh my God, this person spoke about this or that or this. This hit me raw because I've been there, done that. This experience happened to me, very similar to that. Jenna P and I are teachers. That's a connection. Lefty and I are teachers. It's a connection. We keep certain fish. It's a connection. We've single parents, a connection. Death in our family, a connection. Sister, brother. We are brothers and sisters no matter where we are. We may not be from the same mom and dad, but we have children that are connected. And I think it was what Bewizzle said. Look, I got memories that I can leave my kids with the YouTube history. That's true. And let me tell you something. Everybody in school is like, what's your channel? Mr. O, what's your channel? I ain't telling them. I'll send a link to them, but I won't put it. And I'll block their little butts if they go in. But the teachers, look how wonderful this is. The week before Thanksgiving, Miss Slaughter, one of the science teachers, has a lesson plan that deals with axolotls. So she asked Miss Moss, who I set up a tank in her room, another science teacher, and she goes, you got to talk to Eduardo. He could do that. So she comes over. Okay, let me go. I texted 3 people. Roxy from Foxy's Fishes said, I have eggs. So I went to Slaughter and I said, how about eggs? How about if we do with eggs? And back and forth. Here, Miss Slaughter, here's Fishy, Foxy's Fishes. See her video, see her content. She sent her 20 eggs. We have 6 or 5 oxalotls, oxys out of them. They're the Lucy's. They're doing great. We're taping. She's filming them every day as they grow. It's a lesson plan for the students. And I had a little tiny bit to do with that. Just a little tiny bit. Because I had the connection with someone who had them. She was looking for a big oxalot. I said, no. Okay, well, I got people who know. So I asked, and Roxy said, I got eggs. I said, that's perfect. Then that same Thanksgiving weekend, what did we do? We were all there watching her eggs or watching the axolotls come out of their eggs. We were like, training, what do you call it? Practicing nurses in a delivery room, watching everything explode. Oh my God. Ricky came out. Wah! Fred came out. Wah! Elsa came out. Wah! What the fuck is wrong with Lucy? She ain't coming out. 24 hours later, whatever, she decided to pop out, and here went to the world. And making a long story short, or actually making a short story really damn long, the joy of connecting, that experience to the sister that I have in Roxy, to the comrade that I have at the school, to expand a student's mind into a hobby that we're in, my job is done.
Hey,
I had a little bit
right now in Dark
it.
Water. The same thing happened. I'm at Funk House on some
happy birthday, Funk
type shit. That boy birthday every day. Happy birthday, Funk. Don't nobody know.
Oh, by the way, today is Rob Tian's was birthday. By the way, he's finally 12.
It went from that to look what B is doing with the kids.
Yeah.
Seriously, why? Because we clowning. Talking about, bro, you can go get some leaves out the damn yard and put them shits in the tank. No, you can't. Bullshit. Yes, you can. Now I'm at his house in his living room. We streaming. You know what I'm saying? Life is good. That's the family in family.
Yep.
I have relatives that aren't necessarily my family.
They're not my
And I
friends,
have
that's for
family
sure.
that aren't necessarily my blood relatives per se. We don't share any genes, but they are family in every sense of what embodies family.
Correct.
And
I mean,
you know,
we might be able to share genes if we were the same size, but outside of that, our genes are different.
that's why I knew you was gonna. I knew it. And I was like, you done fucked up, right? Yeah. I mean, it's
It
to
is
where
true, though.
we got to
It
get
is
back to where the hobby is. There was a hunger when we had Roy on the show.
Yep.
There's a hunger, and like this, okay. State your purpose. What do you want? Set goals. There's no wrong answer. But set goals that are practical, based on your resources, based on your experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you can ensure that you're accountable and that you take setbacks with excitement.
Yep. The
And
passion
not get
behind our
discouraged.
hobby.
Yes.
The passion behind our hobby should be the passion that we have every day. Because if once we lose the passion to what we love, then we no longer love what we're doing. And it becomes a burden.
This is what happened. It's December right now. All these tanks gonna get bought. All these tanks gonna get set up. All these people we just talked about, YouTube channels gonna go hot as hell. All these fish tanks gonna end up on Facebook Marketplace, and you're gonna be able to tell who the hobbyist is and who ain't, because you're gonna have people not understanding that fish tanks depreciate in value as soon as you drive them off the showroom floor, and they trying to recoup their entire investment
in one
because
sale.
they saw some bullshit on YouTube. You're welcome.
Well, I know we had that conversation a couple days ago about why the whole reason the $1 per gallon tanks ever came about was because these companies realized they were losing money to people buying used tanks, because you could get them pretty much for half the price off.
If for free.
Yeah. And they've made it to the point now where you have to make a choice and go, do I want to get a new tank for the price that I was going to get a used tank? That's how they were savvy about doing that, and they caught on to it. And that's why you have these sales.
Right. And still, what's funny is you get let's say you get 100-gallon tank and you paid $150 for it, right? And brand new.
Where?
No, I'm just saying,
I had to. I got you back for the jeans. I got you back for the jeans.
But I want 50 for 100. Okay. And I'm like, I can get 255s for $75 because so-and-so down the street is getting rid of some tanks. Do I need the 100? Okay, now use 255s.
It's still two.
You got two. That means you
do two
split
things.
You got two times, and 10 gallons more. Anyway,
basically, fuck that 150 out there. I'm finna scrap that. Now I'm finna do this one, playing it. I might even do salt. Now I'm gonna do brackish. That way I can use the filters and stuff I already got. Bro, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
The thing is, just because they go on sale doesn't mean I'm going to go buy. But if I need it, let's say that my 125 has a crack, I have to go get a 125 as quickly as possible. That's different. That's just what happened. But I have other tanks to put the fish in until I can prepare the new tank for them. But when you look at it, but that comes from experience. That doesn't come from I just bought a tank and it cracked, and now what am I going to do? And I'm new to the hobby. But what I'm saying is, when we falsify or we allow, not us, but when we allow falsity to become a reality,
right?
Shall I say anything more? If it's not true and we let it stand, how is that domino effect of negativity going to affect how many people are going to leave the hobby because they followed? One person said, do this, and 10
Hence
people
the topic
followed.
of this show: social media versus reality.
Correct.
And the unfortunate thing is, I know why I got a YouTube channel. Jorge también, and then you too, Eduardo. And I told
I
y'all.
only got the YouTube channel because I like bullshit.
Well, see, I told y'all. Me. I was at the Petco.
Yep.
That Sunday, and I had el niño con su abuela. The little dude was with his grandma, and he was buying a betta fish, and this happened too much. The lady was just asking questions. Since when has it ever, the whole point of the hobby, the basis, the foundation of the hobby is questions. What happens if I do this? Or this? That's dead because you can't even ask the questions, what do I do? Without saying, shut up, explicative, give us our money, shut up and dribble. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And then,
or you giving information.
Wait. That's what I'm going with it. Then you're left with the alternative of getting on the phone, on the Facebook, on the internet, whatever, and seeing the clowns. But they got sponsors and everything, so you know they got to be legit. Like, I'm not trying to scroll on Instagram and see these commercials talking about go to veterinarian school to learn how to be a tank maintenance. Like, it's real. Yep. It is here.
Yep.
And we just had a guest on our show talking about being stewards of the earth, doing what Drew doing what Hank doing what Rico doing, what Funk doing. Funk got a project too. I got a project. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that we're leaving a trust behind. Talk a little business real quick. When you die, you don't leave your house to your kids. You don't leave nothing to your kids. You don't leave nothing to nobody of tangible value that is not in a trust.
Yep.
That's what we doing. That's my legacy. That's why I make videos. It's a time capsule. It's a legacy. It's a trust that it'll always be here, that hunger, you know, to where you're not scared to ask a question. Because you got YouTube now. You can ask a question and you can reinforce it with proper, accurate information from knowledgeable people that don't necessarily go by their sub count. Maybe your sub count should reflect your knowledge, and you know what I'm saying?
100%. You know, the battle that many of us might be having, I'll speak for myself. The battle that I have when I watch someone, and I open my YouTube to watch whatever comes up, not just my subscriber, the ones I'm subscribed to. I open it all to all and watch differently. And go keep scanning and see what I'm, hey, maybe I'll find something new that I don't know about. And in those searches, I've seen the horrors of people that you are mentioning right now. And I'm not subscribed. Delete. No, I'm not. The little survey comes. Do you want to see? No. A lot of no's. But before I make that choice, I go to the channel. I see some of the what they have before I make my choice.
Hermano, but wait, you got to re-explain this. It's not going to mess up nothing. I promise. You got to explain to the people that's coming in. Just because you don't sub, just because you don't support that bullshit don't mean you the asshole. No. And we have to you have to understand that to the noobs though. Like, oh, you just hating. You just hating. No,
I'm not hating. I'm right, exactly. It's
that's what I'm saying.
If your content is misleading and it's false, you don't have me as a subscriber. You're not going to have me on your channel, following you and watching you. No, it's not going to happen. If your conversation is intriguing, and you have one fish tank, that's it. But it's there, and what you're sharing with us what you're sharing to the audience, who that we are there, is interesting enough. Your personality is genuine. You got me hooked until whenever.
Mhm.
I will go to your channel, and I go to certain channels, and I'm there. I'm trying to be there. If it's during the time that I can be there, I'm there. My
Mhm.
schedule changed, so now it's like mornings are gone. So now after 5:30, after 7, that's when I'm on. I can go live on Saturdays and Sundays, and in another week I can go live, for 10 days. But at the same time, I am not going to be joining your stream or going to watch you if what you're saying has nothing of value or validity, or that you are held accountable for what you're saying. Because if you're not, then you don't have me as a subscriber.
Let me ask both of y'all
And I
something.
will not promote you ever.
Let me ask both of y'all something, because I see you over there. I see your gears, Jorge. Check this
Well,
out.
here, no. Before
Go ahead.
The thing is, I gotta
It's
jump
the
off.
same thing.
I gotta jump off because I gotta go to work, and I gotta go pick up my wife's car from the dealership before I head to work. You guys stay on here. I'm gonna be on the chat, doing whatever it is.
Okay.
Lock up when you're done, and turn off the
Okay.
lights.
Well, answer this question on the way out, or
All
just
right.
be thinking about it in the chat.
No.
So-
Go ahead and ask.
Yeah. So, like what you were saying, Eduardo, and then you got me hooked until, right? So, going back to discernment, you watching these cats like me, got foundational knowledge. I don't care who your sponsor is. I don't care I don't care about the thin candy shell. If I see things that I know are fundamentally incorrect, I can't support you, and I'm not hating. I'm sorry. I don't care. We can eat at the same table, baby. You just can't eat off my plate. That's all. I'm not knocking your hustle. So, like, what kind of pet peeves, like, with you, Eduardo, like, when you see stuff like that? Like, I know I've been harping on keeping fish tanks on the floor. Let me explain then. Here's why. A lot of people have cleaned up too many fish tanks. Look, it's on the floor. It contracts, it shifts, the temperature gradient, hot air rises, cold air sinks. Not to mention badass kids running around the corner don't see it. Foot through tank. Holy shit, everything dead. It's a no-no. It's just a good rule of thumb. Hey, you can keep fish tanks on the floor if you want to, but I'm not telling you that you should. It's that simple. I told you why you shouldn't. That's all. Like, if you don't have nowhere else to put a tank and you want to put a tank on the floor with water in it, by all means, it's water and electricity on the floor.
Max, go ahead, because you got to run. Answer that.
Yeah,
before
no.
I go.
I guess a pet peeve of mine would be, like I said, is just when you can tell that somebody's not being honest. That's the biggest pet peeve. When they're being misleading and not having any transparency. That's the only thing. How you keep stuff, I don't care. It's your stuff. You decide to keep it how you want to keep it. I don't.
Right.
We're probably doing different projects anyway, so there's a reason why you have it set up the way you have it set up. So that doesn't bother me at all. The only thing that I do have a issue with is the lack of transparency, the lack of honesty. That's the only thing that really bothers me. Other than that, you do you, man. That's what's so great about this hobby. You do you. So
100%.
on that note, I want to thank you guys, everybody that was here. I'm going to jump off to the chat. Lock up when you're done.
Ain't nothing to it, man. I mean, we pretty much.
No, don't wrap it up, because you guys still got quite a while to go. So
yeah. No, I mean, it is what it is. You got to go, so.
Take care.
You
Drive safe and see you soon.
All right,
I'll keep you in chat. Well, I'll be keeping my eye on chat.
Man, so like with the pet peeves
talking
thing.
about pet peeves.
Yes,
the number one pet peeve, and first of all, I agree with both points that you said. And the ones that
I'm not hating on nobody. And look, let me be transparent.
This isn't hate, right?
If you don't,
my pet peeve, my number one pet peeve.
With matches. That's all I'm saying.
It's not about the hobby. It's about YouTube.
Amen.
Is we may be mods in a. I've been a mod, and many of the mods that are here today have been mods in other streams, and it's a busy stream, and there's a lot of people there, several hundred, maybe thousands of people, several hundred thousands of people, and there's always a little one, someone who's brand new to the fish room, to the channel, and they're asking questions, silly questions that I think they're super, they're like, this is just insane.
They trolling or they serious?
No. You think they're trolling.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You be thinking that. Are they trolling?
You be thinking it, and
but
I'm like, no.
They serious, though.
This is a serious.
Those people get eviscerated all the time.
Correct. And they get eviscerated and ignored. I'm the
you
one that
finna get
like,
me turned up.
You know what? Here, I'll copy their name and send, this is what in my opinion or my suggestion, and this is the best thing you could do.
Right.
Take this fish out, do this, put it in salt, make sure there's no have a quarantine tank 24/7 all the time. Doesn't matter if you only have one fish tank. Oh, you got two fishes, quarantine fish. That's one. But it's those new people to the stream that are being ignored or being looked over by the streamer because they have an agenda. They're selling a product and they're not focused on who's in chat.
You too nice. You too nice. Nah. You too nice. Nuh-uh. Agenda my ass. They don't know.
No. I'm talking about people that do know.
No.
So many people.
I'm talking about the one. This is the agenda though. For real, look. They don't know. That's bullshit. Everybody got eyes. You can see who grew in the hobby on YouTube.
Yeah.
Got sponsors on YouTube. Did everything on YouTube, on social media. So they ostracizing these people for asking questions. And then you have a group of sycophants. You know what I'm saying? Sitting around in the circle jerk, ball sampling. And it creates this environment of
tension. It's tension and
it's not inclusive.
No, it's right. It's selective. It's selective.
I'm on YouTube. I've been on YouTube longer than a lot of you guys understand. And I go jump in a chat room or something, and I'm a bulk action kind of guy. I do not like tedium in any way, shape, or form. I will say, hey, y'all, or hey, chat, and then it's case by case. I will speak when spoken to. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to chill. And then I see it. You can see the people in the chat, high-fiving, what we call it, good gaming, butt patting each other and stuff. And then here comes your person, the little homie coming in asking a question of, what should I do? Right? Automatically, they're a loser. They're getting attacked. I've seen people blocked. The mods get them. And then what I was alluding to, Eduardo, because you was spot on, but when I said you was being too nice, this is what I'm alluding to that is more common, is when you break one of the 48 laws of power and you outshine the master. See, you never outshine the master. And these people will get up here and ask a question and they get ignored, they get booted, or the resident know-it-all of the chat will get into a potato-tomato semantics back and forth, and then you ain't even talking about the original question no more, and it has de-evolved into some bullshit.
Right, and it goes right off the tangent.
Exactly.
The thing that I connect this all with as well, the people in chat, I'm one of them, and the people on the stream. It's sort of like we're the educators, you and I, right here, right?
Right.
Let's say the people in the chat, they're the participants of our class, right? If someone in my classroom, you always got the kid. Well, oh, I know the answer. Ooh, I know the answer. Ooh, I know the answer. And then you got those that are shyer and don't ask as
Right.
many questions. But then you get one that's been lurking in the chat and then just pop up and they ask a question. And we're both so involved in what we're talking about that we don't see it. And yet we have a mod in here, Lady R, who she just mentioned, I believe it.
Mhm.
She's like,
And Ginger too.
I'm gonna focus on the fish.
Corey.
And we missed the comment, but she didn't. And she's like, okay, well, whatever it is, what kind of tank do you have? What are the water parameters? Whatever question the person has, and can you put in bed of fish with shrimp? Let's say that's the question, right? I've seen that happen a lot. And I'm sure she would like, well, you could, but it depends on the fish and someone that has the size and the shrimplets and this, that, and the other. You shouldn't because maybe the better might eat it. And the thing is, we missed it, but somebody caught it. I'm that person. In my classroom, I make sure that I'm paying attention to those very quiet students because they're the ones that I'm wondering, are they grasping the lesson? And that's just like Lady R said, that's exactly what we do. Zen Ginger has done that so many times in chat. I've done it. And
you know what you just do? You know what you just did?
Sorry?
You know what you just did?
No. What?
You just described the difference between
the negativity,
a boss and a leader. Let me give you some street shit real quick. Peep game. Now, a boss, he just need workers. A boss ain't gonna never set you up to where you can leave him and start your own business and do your own thing. That's a boss. Now, a leader will equip you with the tools, the knowledge, the guidance, and leadership to not only start your own business, they will sponsor you, back you, and raise you up to ensure your success because their return on investment is your success. Because if you're not successful, they have to reflect on what the hell it is they doing.
And as an educator, my belief is you're smart. As a student, I believed that my professors know what they're talking about. So I'm up to absorb everything they're going to give me, right?
Amen.
Good or bad, and then choose what's good and eradicate that. So I want the students to also know, hey, I may be the expert in the field, but I'm here to give you everything I know about whatever it is. That's why I talk the way I talk, the same way I do here, I do it in the classroom. And if in theater or in ELL, okay, we have to understand that we are as proficient in our ability to communicate justifiably, truthfully, and honestly to the experiences that we've had. Doesn't matter if it's not your experience. It's we share what has been true to us in our fish, in our life, our good, the bad, the ugly. There's a movie like that. And what has elevated and what I have done to elevate myself and elevate others that they can be better than what I am. I want my students to be better teachers or better human beings than I am right now. That's all I can give them. I'm not raising anybody's kids. I'm just educating them in order for them to become better human being, better humankind. And at the same time, that teacher, that motherfucker knew what the hell he was talking about.
Right.
Because I didn't believe him at first and he was some crazy mofo. But you know what? He told the truth. And I applied it and it worked. And it worked for me, just like he had said out there as well. By the way, Robert, happy birthday. I know you turned 12
happy
today.
birthday.
Yeah.
No, I was chuckling because you hit another of some stuff that me and George had talked about. When you were talking about giving them everything, sharing everything you got.
All out there.
And talking about the information biases again, right? So like communicating, right? It don't matter how good you talk and how big work. Look, if the people ain't picking up what the fuck you putting down, you suck.
You suck.
And I'm finna go. Watch. It's up. I don't care. God love me. Look. No, I said I'm finna go. I'm about to yell and that like it's Farrakhan time. I don't give a fuck. Look. All the time I see this. It's an ego. And it's like these cats is hyperinflated. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And what's the point of saying all this stuff that don't matter if it can't be retained, absorbed, and reutilized,
and
recalled
used,
upon when necessary. Yep. So I see this. It's alluding back to what you were saying of giving that information, giving that knowledge, and it goes back to what I was saying. You're too nice. When I said that, you can't tell somebody what you don't know. The problem is half these motherfuckers on YouTube ain't figured that shit out yet, and y'all need to shut the fuck up. Yeah, I said it.
You see the highlighted right there that Rob put up? I'm new to the hobby. I got 3 Oscars in a tank. Tank. How many more can I put in?
That's why I left it up there.
Right. I just read it, and it reminded me so much back in my LFS days when I started out working in my life. How many people love the little tiny Oscars? They're so cute, and they were by 4. And I'm like, how big is your tank? You know, if it was another the new guy who started selling fish at the LFS, had no idea. He was learning. And I saw bags with 4 little Oscars, and I'm like, okay. So I would go to the person and like, you know, the customer, and say, how big is your tank? And they're like, oh, it's a 10-gallon tank. You do know that these fish grow up to be a foot big, right? Within a year, they'll be that big. You'll need a bit more than a 10-gallon tank. And then Mike was his name. He was the new kid on the block. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, because if you knew that, you wouldn't have sold them 4.
See, but
we don't work on commission. I've called them aside so many times. We don't work on commission. Why are you trying to sell them fish? You know, we'll go to PetSmart or Petco, one of the big
the box store,
the big box houses, and I know when the employee knows what you're talking about because I'll walk around and pretend I'm looking at plants and fish, and I'm listening. You know, they they're cat people. Nothing against cat people, but they can go sell you like some real gravel stuff so that or whatever it is that
for the kitty litter. Yeah.
Kitty litter, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, the best kitty litter is this, and that.
Yeah, because
but
it's their thing.
You put them in the fish department. Oh yeah, goldfish and cichlids and guppies and neons. Put them all in there. Yep, they can go together.
That's what I was look. And this
and we
is
got what I'm saying. What I'm saying with that is we translate that to fish. The YouTubers talking fish. They do the exact same shit.
That's what I'm finna go on right here.
With absolute no idea what heck I'll be saying all the time. All right.
So you can't tell somebody what you don't know, right?
Right.
The Oscars. This situation with the Oscars. How come? Like whole scenario. You got a tank. You got the money. Hola, mi amor. You got a tank. You got the money. You go in the store. You want the Oscars.
Yep.
Here's how this situation is always mismanaged, and this is why it has not changed. Because instead of being able to be a salesman and steer that energy and say, hey, look, I see you excited, and I know you finna get these fish. Let me be honest with you now. These Oscars here, they gonna get big. However, these over here, you can put them in there right now. They full grown. They just as pretty, and they cheaper. And you can add more fish at a later time if you choose to. How about that? Correct. But no, that don't happen. Goes back to that box we were talking about. And I said, in the hood, keeping fish tanks is a bitch sport. You see what I'm saying? And people got to be cognizant that, hey, my experience might not necessarily be yours. And that goes both ways.
Correct. But Zen,
You
I
see what I'm
agree with
saying?
that. It is a fine line. But
Yeah.
when you know, and I'm not being the fish police, I'm
Right.
saying while at the LFS, when you know the salesperson knows what they're talking about
Oh,
or
absolutely.
does not know what they're talking about.
How many people
it's
get
sort of
turned
like
off to
when
the
you
hobby
put
like that?
when you put some, I mean, I walked into the hobby back when I was 14 years old in the LFS, pretending I was 15 years old. My boss knew, but nobody else knew. But I walked into the hobby with fish knowledge. That's why she wanted me there. She knew that I knew what the hell I was doing at that age. That's why I was there for 4 years while I went to high school. Number one.
Yeah,
Two,
yeah.
it's not about being judging or anything like that. But if I'm training someone like Mike, who was the new kid on the block, I had
Right.
to make sure that he knew what the hell he was doing, because I'm going to get that customer back in my shop. It wasn't my shop, but it was an LFS.
Well, right.
And they're going to be like, this happened. That idiot told me this, and I found out this and that.
And I put it in there, and he ate everything.
Yeah,
My
and I'm
kids
to
were
blame because
crying.
I didn't stop it. So yes, it is a fine line, and I 100% agree with you. But when you see something that we already know that is wrong, incorrect, improper, or is going to create a terrorizing, horrific experience to a new fish keeper, someone has to say something. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I don't believe I'm wrong.
It goes back to what all this is matching. Communication. It's
Correct.
not what you say, it's how. It's how you say it. To Zen Ginger, your comment, it says it's a fine line to walk between being helpful and being the fish police. When you want to tell someone they're crazy for their fish stocking choices in chats or in shops, this is true. This goes to something. Hey, fish tanks are personal. You don't talk about nobody baby. Somebody show you a picture and they got an ugly baby. What do? A polite person, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. You don't have to lie and say they cute when they ugly. You just be like, oh, okay. And you go on about your business. People that know me personally that have showed me babies, I will tell them straight up, I'm so glad that baby is cute and I didn't have to lie. That's just me though. If you don't have love in your heart, you're not a good man. That's my motto. You got to have love in your heart. Be honest, not unkind. So when you talking about communicating, it's the connection. You know what I noticed about animal people, hermano? Animal people suck because animal people don't have no people skills. They a bunch of thin-skinned, pretentious, candy-coated, pimply-faced fuckboys living in their mama house with leopard geckos and bearded dragons and shit, trying to act like they cool because the only thing they can control is animals because they suck at people. I'm just being real. I don't care. I used to be one of those people. I'm being accountable. I used to be one of those people blaming everything on the world, angry, mad because I was a little black kid, mom got murdered, blah, blah, blah. I used to be that guy, a victim. I don't care. I got no sympathy for losers. None. Life ain't nothing but life at the end of the day. So it's like, what? Do you want to hurt that little black boy's feelings or little girl or whoever who wants to put 4 Oscars like Tennessee Redneck said in a team together? You want to hurt the homie feelings? Like, no, rednecks. You can't put 10 or that. No, but people are brutal like that. I'm doing this egregiously to illustrate a point.
I know. We know.
And it is so disheartening to see. Bro, do you just see the disappointment on a little kid's face at the stove when you got some pissed off heifer literally busting bags of fish, pulling them back in the tanks, calling them everything short of a Negro idiot because they did not know the stocking rules of tanks. They saw a pretty fish that they could afford that they wanted.
Yep. without knowing,
who gives
without
you the
having
audacity?
without having any knowledge or some conception of knowledge
Thank you.
of what type of fish it is and what kind of water it needs or what kind of living space it needs, yada 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 yada. The thing is, I'm going to disagree with the fact that animal people are not human people. I was raised by my grandma, and loving animals was, I loved being with all those animals. But let me tell you something, that woman was so real. The albino red bunny rabbits, white bunny rabbits she had in cages, I used to love them all the time.
New Zealand,
she would
baby.
pull them out she would take one out, tail, wrap its neck with a wire, hang it up, whack it over the head, rip it down, and it was dinner. Same thing happened with the chicken. Same thing happened with the ducks. But her reality was their food.
That's where your food comes from.
My reality was they're so cute. I was a child, for Christ's sake. But I learned, the dog was never fed. I mean, the dog was never chopped up and put there, but the swines were the big, pernil asado. That came from the pig that was outside when it came like a little piglet. And now it's this big animal, and now it's food unstable. So there's a lot. There's a lot that we have to take into consideration, because I've always loved animals, all types of animals, including snakes and reptiles and all that kind of stuff. I've had them in my life. But my mom was not an animal lover. She wasn't even a children lover. She had the audacity to say, you know what? I brought you into this world. I can take you out. And
they got that off of the Cosby Show.
Wait, no. And I said to her, then you should have been a nun and never had sex, because you had 7 pregnancies, woman.
Did you get slapped in the mouth? After you got up, then what happened?
No. I was already 30-something years old when that was already.
Oh, you were smart about it.
Oh, hell. Okay. No. I was slapped every day because I always confronted her with her bullshit.
Oh, you was just like, I don't care no more.
But it came a point where I had to shut her down. And she's my mom.
You set a boundary, bro. That's all.
It's like there is a level of understanding and empathy that I have for people who are going through their struggles at the given time. I may not have been there, but I can definitely.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not apathetic.
I'm not. And I'm saying you. I'm saying
there was a specific individual that I just described, and we all know those people, and they compulsively hoard animals. Nobody can take care of those animals better than them. People, them.
Damn, those people. Damn people.
I love animals.
I do.
I didn't have no friends. I had animals.
When you look,
I'm not talking about me. I'm
talking about
them cats.
Look, my sister, if she's ever watching one of these, she will have a shit fit. But she is a plant, or was. Let me correct myself. She was a plant killer. Every plant until she was in her 30s that she ever had in her house died, or she killed it. I remember giving her plastic plants, and my best friend Carol, our other sister, I gave them plastic plants. They killed them too. They would go, no, I ain't shitting you. They would go and clean, like the rubber tree plant. It was made out of rubber.
You tear all the leaves off of it.
And as they're cleaning the leaves, leaves popped out. Yeah. They broke it, threw it out. They would kill plastic plants. No joke. Today, my sister is keeping up a tank. She never had one before. She's had bettas, but now she has a tank with a betta and some guppies, and the guppies that Maria Z sent her, which she got this week. They're all doing great, and she's taking care of it, and she has plants that are still alive, and she's in Pennsylvania. So a lot of this stuff, this fallacy that you can't change, and she raised, and
no, get called up in Pennsylvania, y'all. We know
not because she's my sister. Yeah. Not because she's my sister and those in the chat that met her at the class, but she is and will always be one of the best moms I have ever known in my life. Not because she's my sister, but her kids, they will kill for her. Okay? Not that I don't mean kill for real. I mean, one of them's a lawyer. Trust me.
They love their mother immensely.
But it's not about loving the mom. Yeah. It's about how much of a good human beings the children became. Knowing we were raised by this mom this narcissistic, selfish mom. And here is my sister who did not
She broke the
pass
cycle.
that shit down to her kids. So
That's right.
anyway, that being said, we are the same. We are the bearers of also doing the same thing in the fish fam, or in the orchid, in the plant fam, or just in our daily lives. In our daily lives, I am 24/7 a student. Number one, I am learning every day. Every day, what I share is what I know and how I can teach. I got 29, 30 students in the classroom that I should only have 15 at most.
Yeah, I'm about to
but
say
I got
that's
twice
a lot.
as many, and I got to individualize their learning because they come from different countries, not knowing the English language. Okay, so I have to individualize. I found out some of them don't even know the alphabet in their own language. Some students haven't been in school for 4 years. They're 15 years old in 6th grade. You figure that one out. So individually, I have to literally become a one student teacher with 30 students in the classroom. And on this medium, we have 10, 26, 40, 400 people in chat. Whatever we have, we're sharing that with them. Whatever I do in my classroom, not the content or the lesson, but the communication. And I wish, and I try to listen to the chat, not listen, but read the chat, where you have to absorb what they're saying, good or bad, doesn't matter. As long as they're communicating with you, we won. The communication is back and forth. One thing why I like Rico Scan so much was because when he literally has his stream, or had a stream, that he would focus on the chat. Mm-hmm. What do we got to say? And he would go off on that. His stream would be based on that. I love that, Pat. I love that path, and I wish I know that's what I'm going to do.
Well, that was good. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. Look, the chat, right? I'm live streaming when I first started years ago, whatever. And then it's like, everybody's a human being, right? How do you feel when you're ignored? Oof. Okay? So then you be mature about it, and you're like, well, shit, the thing's moving fast and there's 100 people in there. Okay, that's different. This is the fish fam.
Yeah.
It ain't never like that. That's all I'm going to say. So being ignored turns people off.
Yep.
The other stuff that goes in the chat turns people off.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. On the flip side of that, highlighting people in the chat it's a good thing. Because everybody likes to be recognized. Everybody likes to be able to feel as though they are contributing to the dialogue. With me personally, y'all, it goes down to time being valuable. If people choose to share their time, then value it, cherish it. It's like y'all rocking with us on a Saturday, doing whatever y'all do, listening, etc. It is what it is. And that's a valuable thing. While Eduardo's gone, anybody got any questions? Because I am getting about ready to wrap it up. We kind of went long today, but it is social media, right? The Charlie Brown Christmas tree versus the Christmas tree on Rockefeller Square in New York. And it's the same thing. You know you can't make no tree like that at your house. Everybody can. I'm sure there are people that could, that are rich. But the majority of us that try to emulate the stuff that we see on these channels that irresponsibly mislead people, your stuff end up looking like Charlie Brown. And that's disheartening. It's very discouraging. And for me, I get the brunt of it when people hit me up or they send me stuff on YouTube or hit me up in the DMs. It's like, Steve. And it's so heartbreaking because it's like, how do I tell them that that's not real at all? Like, it's 100% impossible versus saying, look, man, you got to crawl before you walk, and you can do it. But to be honest to you, like, I know you lazy. Like, the majority of that stuff you see on YouTube is bullshit. I can get you close, but it ain't gonna look like exactly like that on YouTube. Like, it not happening. Like, you don't have no sponsors. You don't have like a business deal with Tropica or somebody doing tissue culture. You ain't got no passport, so you ain't traveling, and it is what it is. Yeah, Watts. So Watts, it knows about the Charlie Brown Christmas tree analogy. People hit me up about plants, and I'll be like, yeah, there's plants in there, but they're alive. They're not growing. And he was like, what you mean? And I was like, bro, just hear me out. I was like, plants have to grow. And there's a difference between like them just being in there surviving versus thriving. And then I used my analogy. I was like, bro, they gotta be like gorilla dick, you know, they gotta pop, you know, like a plant that looks all skimpy and that poor little bastard barely hanging on. I said, no, bro, you want your plants to have like gorilla dick, like vibrant growth, like King Kong. And I said, that's the difference between these channels that get up here talking about they aquascaping and shit. I'm like, no, boy, that ain't no aquascape. Information bias, folks. I can look at that plant and say, hey, man, he just pulled that goddamn plant out that rock wool and put that thing in that tank. It don't have no immersed growth. I don't see no hope, no life on there. No, that's not right. That's not right. Then, going back to what Eduardo had said, what George said. Oh, yeah, you got me. You got me. You had me at hello. Then I'm watching your tank. And then I start thinking, how come I ain't never seen that in these tanks 2 months later, 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later? Motherfucker still on YouTube. Got twice as many subs and a play button and sponsors. How come I ain't never seen that tank? And then they be like, oh, we had to take this one down. Woo, don't worry. The fish is in a good home. Such and such, such and such. Now we rocking with this. They are normalizing obsessive compulsive behavior. They are normalizing poor impulse control. They are normalizing and enabling killing shit, turning life into a commodity. And it's very irresponsible. They're not going to come up here and be transparent and say, hey, man, these crips that you see right here, it's a hybrid. It's a clone. Let me explain how plants work to you. This right here, this little scraggly dead fucker is a Dracaena. Okay? It's the same thing as a lucky bamboo. It's the same thing as this gigantea behind me. It's collector's item. Yeah, eat on that, Eduardo. This collector's item. Or this green heart I got right here. Another collector's item. I had to flex. They not going to tell you that, man, screw you and your stupid ass failing out. Look at you and your orchid. It do look good. Damn, that baby look good, bro.
Yeah,
that must look good.
Look at the second one popping up. She has two now. Hold on, let me put it down so you can see the flower.
Double stem? No,
one stem. She has just one stem. Two huge. This one's popping out now. This one is a big. But look how big she is. She covers my face.
Nice.
But one again.
Nice.
It's about.
But yes, like the clones, right? Yep. My tangent. Ain't nobody gonna say this is this.
Nope.
It's not a real Anubius. It's not this. Ain't nobody gonna say Bucafalandra, wavy green. Is this? It's a type locale. They not gonna tell you that Mini Catherine A is a species of Bucafialandra.
Right.
They're not gonna say that. They're not gonna say that cryptocurrent, pink flamingo. You will never find that shit in the wild. It is a hybrid.
Yep.
Now y'all out here buying this shit, killing it, mad at me because I'm some pissed off militant Negro. I don't give a shit. Because guess what? With YouTube or not, my phone's still gonna ring and people still gonna seek me for my knowledge on what I know.
Correct.
Let me explain to y'all what knowledge is. Knowledge is an agreement of everything that everybody is alive understands. That's it. Because at the end of the day, who the hell knows anything? It is an agreement of our experiences and what we have become to understand and know from said experiences. The
100%.
consensus agrees on said knowledge, and boom, you got yourself a community, folks. And that's where I'm at with it.
Zen says something she loves, that Phalaenopsis orchids are her favorite. They're mine too.
Yeah, Phalaenopsis, it's the most common one, and they're a cold orchid. They're a cold weather orchid.
Yep, very much so.
Don't get me started on the orchids now. I was on my soapbox about the social media now. Eduardo, you come over here with this bullshit, and then we over here now, and you know, I'm jealous because I want to be better. I want to get into dendrobia orchids,
right?
Because I'm gonna start smuggling them bitches from the DR.
King of Taiwan.
I like aeroids too.
Yeah,
I do love aeroids.
This is literally a baby from the mom. The mother plant, I should say. Hold on, let me get rid of this.
While you doing that, I'm gonna finish my soapbox.
There's mom right there. She's 4 years old, and this was a baby. I got 7 babies out of her, and it was wonderful. So
there she goes.
Literally,
This high growth chai, expensive as fuck. We finna talk about the hype monster. Yes, there it is. Y'all go look on my live streams. One of them, Fish Talk with Steve. I was talking about the hype monster, and I was talking about how these paid spokesmen will get up here and regurgitate all this bullshit off of Google and Wikipedia, and they don't know a goddamn thing about nothing. They none of it forced in experience. None of it. And then you get people like Eduardo who got a bloom. See, I'm from the show me state. I see it. You ain't getting that. Look, getting the flower to bloom is getting the flower to bloom. But making sure that phosphorus level in any peptide like an orchid to produce that big fucker is pollinating.
Correct.
It's thriving. That's the difference between knowing a tissue cultured Pogostemon helferi or a cutting or knowing what a clone is.
Correct.
And knowing what patents are. And then just being able to have foundational knowledge and take a deep breath and say, it ain't that serious.
Nope.
And I will never contradict somebody again on a live stream or a chat because of my limited knowledge. Because I don't know. That person might be crazy. And he might come find my ass and beat the shit out of me. Or he might cuss me out. Or he might be an angry, pissed off militant Negro with gold
never know.
And a, Ivy League education. Who knows? This is Tommy Hilfiger, goddammit. These are Paisleys. You understand me? This is Velcro. And what's that? Corduroy.
Corduroy.
Like, come on now. You can't be doing that. It's responsible.
The thing is,
irresponsible, I should say.
What we have shared, through our own experiences, it's also a commonality that we have. We know what we're talking about because we've shared it, and all of a sudden we're like, ding, 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 ding. The bells are going off because, did that, been there, had that experience, done that kind of stuff. I mean, I am very, very happy. By the way, I was smelling her because she is a fragrant
freshwater ick. You need to put some neem oil on that.
And then she is literally let me make sure. She's in a glass, right? But it has, and
you're doing it right.
what?
You doing it right. You know what you're doing.
Everybody's like, oh no, they need. Trust me, I know what the hell I'm doing. But the thing
Hey,
is,
I'm put to you like this.
Yeah,
It ain't my fault
because,
that y'all don't know Ginga Rubra is a damn feeder guppy. Stupid.
Right?
Stupid.
No. And you got to look at it from the perspective of years of experience working with them and going to people who are experts in the field and asking them all the silly effing questions like, is this the bark you're talking about?
Or is that the bark? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, no, this is the bark. They pulled out something else. And on the bottom, it's a clay.
You got leca in there, or you got lava rock? You got leca and lava rock?
It's actually clay based. It looks like lava. It's very porous.
Yeah,
but that's the bottom.
Oh, you got bonsai clay in there.
Yeah,
you dirty dog. I don't want to tell you the secrets on the TV. I already know what you're doing, boy.
Yes, and
I'm true to your shit.
Here you have this one, and then over there I have the yellow one, who's about. I'm not going to show her. I mean.
Oh yeah, by the way, aquascaping came from bonsai, y'all.
Correct.
Look.
Yep.
We got to get the foundation of knowledge. I've been telling my kids. I've been telling everybody I love. Pray to something, whatever your thing you pray to is. Whatever. This is what I say. Because I tap into life source energy. That's why I am the exuberant motherfucker that I am. You know, whatever you tap into, pray for these 3 things. Yeah, Akadama's amazing. Pray for these 3 things. Pray to be released from arrogance, hubris, and ego. And do it every day. And then I add this, and I tell my sons this when they get ready to go to school, whatever they do. When I'm lecturing them to clean their room, and I do this to myself every day. Watts can attest to this. People that know me done heard it.
Yep.
You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Every day, when you feel yourself getting angry, frustrated, self-righteous, any of that stuff, ask yourself, who the fuck do you think you are? Ask it to yourself. And you do that every day.
Humble thyself in front of thy own eyes.
No, ask it like that. Who in the F do you think you are?
What you dislike on other people who are always so arrogant.
Well, because what that is? That is a manifestation of.
Yep.
People remind you of shit that you don't like about yourself.
It's a freaking mirror. When
exactly. There ain't nobody business for somebody
about
think of you.
Someone else is because you do it too, and you're looking
Amen.
at yourself, and it's brought up by them. That's all it is. You know, the word manifestation. Oh shit! You just broke another glass, right? It's like when we dislike. Literally, I hate such and such a thing. Comment. It's like I'm looking at you like, I wish I had a mirror. I wish I had a mirror when you just said that because I would have.
You know what I used to tell my troops? It's sailor language, y'all, so y'all put the kids up. But this is life lesson. Y'all can use this and modify the words if you need to. So two lessons that we live by. And the first one, I had an old boatswain mate, old BMC Polanco. Boats, if you ever come across this, I love you, man. Boats told me, man. He seen me. I was a young sailor. I was having problems. Boats was Puerto Rican. He said, Mijo, yeah, come here. He was like, look, young blood. He said, you can build 100 houses. That don't make you a carpenter. You can paint 1,000,000 bridges. That don't make you a painter. But you suck one dick, you're always going to be a cocksucker. And I was like, what you trying to say, man? He was like, now. Because Boats was smooth. He was from Jersey. He had the same voice like Sherman Hemsley. He was cool. He said, people are only going to evaluate the good things you do. You are only as good as your last performance.
Correct.
Don't give people ammunition to use against you because people don't never appreciate nothing until they don't have it no more. Then they get to bitching. Yep. And then what I tell my troops, expounding on that, is this. You have to understand that life is an equation. You have to solve for you. You have to do both things on the side of the equal sign. You have to use reciprocity and understand that the common denominator in all your fuckery is you. Once you give you value, then you can solve for the equation. Make sure that you do both things on each side of the equal side, hence the reciprocity. And if you can stay cognizant of that, just imagine how much further we could get in life. We could realize that our lives, the world, is a train wreck, and it's being advertised to us, and we're watching the show. And the fucked up part about it is we're the passengers on the train.
And the driver.
Just saying.
And the driver.
Just saying.
You know, there's Silver said something about we are the cesspool of the of this earth. We definitely are. Where we have challenges with our brothers and sisters on this planet.
Right.
And you know, we may differ in an opinion, we may differ in our beliefs, what we believe on and stuff. But I think the number one demeanor of us all is if we have one inkling to know what it is, how someone else feels, empathy. You can put yourself on any level from up there in the stratosphere down to the bottom of hell and still feel good about your life and your choices, and be able to pass that on to a one human being in your life, be it your child, a relative, a friend, a student, that you're okay. You're okay. Because I remember a book back in the day, I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay. That was the title of the book.
It's a good book.
Yes. I forget the author. I have too many authors in my mind. But that was, to me, you have to be okay understanding that what you do, how you do it, how you come to conclusions, how you share your knowledge, how you share your stupidity of knowledge, or in the word that I like to use is your ignorance, in order to become a better human being. Ignorance means nothing but I don't know. And once you do know and you find out how you know, then how you didn't know, now you do know, then you can progress to the next phase. You know, I love the fact that we do have an end point. We die. Because I believe there's somewhere else, something else that we have to go through somewhere else. You know, it's not like, poof, we're dead, we're gone, we're ashes. Physically, we may be. But
I just wrote that in my journal.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap it up in 4 minutes.
3,
Is that cool?
2, 1, yeah.
But so, because I journal, and I was just looking at things, and I'm making big moves, and when I'm gonna relaunch Warrior Planet Tanks, it's still up for the blogs and stuff. When I'm gonna start selling plants again, for real. And I wrote in my journal. Here, I'll share it with y'all. Fuck it. Because it was like profound, bro. Like the stuff you be thinking about at 2:00 in the morning. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope. I'm asleep at that time.
No, see. This is what I said. I said people don't see it, but they're literally punishing. I'm talking about They're literally punishing that in word for having audacity. Money ain't shit. WTF is money when the only thing you lack is immortality. People really need to wake up or admit that we like shit the way it is. A big ass chess game. Checkerboard. That's Masonic codes to brazenly antagonize and remind them 5% that we have nothing.
Yep.
You know, so I ain't gonna share no more because it gets a little, you know.
Well, the funny, Zen Ginger said,
you know,
that ignorance. She goes, ignorance means to her ignoring, and if you do know and you ignore, that is the worst. 100% agree with you. But as an educator who is teaching or educating the student and they don't know the answer, they are ignorant to the answer, that once they learn the answer and they decide to be ignorant, they're not my student anymore.
No,
they're on some other world that has nothing to do with why you're here.
Right.
or in that classroom in particular.
Well, what you said, because stupidity is a choice, but
Yes,
ignorance,
correct.
ignore. And I was laughing because I told my son that. And I told my son, I was like, mijo, English is the only language that means the opposite. Like it's word spells.
Yep.
I said, listen, I said, when you ignore stuff, you're ignorant and it's irresponsible. I said, it's in the word, baby. I said,
Yep.
what is responsibility? He was like, your ability to respond. I said, God damn it, that's why you my son. You goddamn right. It's your
Action.
ability to respond.
Action.
That's
Action.
responsibility.
Right. It's
That's
like
why
you
love
can
is a
say,
verb, right?
You can say, I'm a responsible person. I'm a responsible teacher. Show me the proof.
Just
Show me the
saying.
proof. Show me
Hey,
the proof.
with that, let's wrap it up. But I want to leave y'all with some homework. For real. And I want to see,
right.
put it in the
Bye,
media.
guys. Woo!
Put it everywhere. Real quick. Hey, y'all go Google Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I teach it every day.
And put that shit on your screensaver, put it on the refrigerator, on your phone, put it on your Kindle Nest, whatever you got. I don't care.
Maslow. I spelled it. Is it M-A?
Maslow. M-A-S-L-O-W apostrophe S. Hierarchy of needs.
Mm-hmm.
And keep that with you and understand that thing exists. And the fact that it does exist means that there are people cognizant of it. And I'm going to tell you something my mentor told me. Everybody has an unfair advantage. You find your unfair advantage and you exploit it. And if you don't think that these people in control are exploiting the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, look at the dollar and see that pyramid on that motherfucker and wonder why. Just figure that out. That's your homework. Y'all have a great weekend, man. This was a dope
Take care,
stream.
everyone. Have a good one.
All right, man. I'm out. Y'all have a good one.
You got it.